Hi Capricorn, this is Gypsy Spirit here with you, ready to give you a quick little love reading for the week of September 12th through the 18th. And if you want a more in-depth reading, you can get that by going to my Patreon page, but we'll get more into that later on. Let's go ahead and get started. I drew a card for you, and it was the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So this is what it looks like. But this is what it looks like if it's in upright. So, Pentacles is always about money in a regular tarot reading. And if you look at this card, you can see where she's taken a coin and sticking it down her shirt. And, this reminds me of the ladies. You see a lot of, I live in Charleston, South Carolina, so I see a lot of elderly women who are not, how can I say, they are not, they're not in elite positions or whatever. I think, let me take that back. I think more, not so much those ladies, but even if you want to think about somebody that's more on the, elite, high status, think about Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin was a woman who was an African American woman who sang for a living, as we all know. And I heard her say in an interview or read something where whenever she did a show, she demanded cash up front before she would walk on stage. And she would put that money in her purse and walk out on stage with her purse, put her purse on the piano. And she, in doing that, she was in total control. She had control over her finances, all aspects of her life. When you have control of your finances, you are in power. And that's exactly what Aretha was. And where I was going with this in the very beginning, and the reason why she did that was because in the early days when she first started out, and I think she kind of had a rough life in the beginning, but when she first started out, she would do concerts and they would not pay her. One, because she was a black woman, and two, because she was a woman. So she learned very early that if she was going to go on stage, she took control. She stepped into her power and said, "Okay, if you want me to sing for your audience, you're going to pay me." And I remember hearing a story that they would have to pay her at least like $25,000 in cash, or she wouldn't go on stage. So this is what I'm feeling for you, Capricorn. It's like when I see this card in reverse, it's like something's going on that's causing you to lose control in the relationship. It may not be money, but it may, it's like you've stepped out of your power and you've given your control over, or your power over, to the other person that's in this relationship, or over to somebody else. For some of you, I'm feeling like there's that you're just waiting for this person, another person, to call you. You're wondering, when are they going to call me? When am I going to see them? I work for a one of those psychic telephone things where people pay by the minute, and this lady used to call all the time. I don't work for this company anymore, but she would call me like at least twice a week. It drove me crazy. Always wanted to know, when was she going to hear from Robert again? She want to know when she was going to hear from Robert again. When was she going to see him? Was she going to see him that weekend? Was she going to talk to him that weekend or that day? I mean, and what was he thinking about her? Was he thinking about her? And if he was, what was he? What the fuck am I? This is not Hollywood. Tarot is not Hollywood. I can't get into your fucking mind, somebody else's fucking mind, and tell you what they're thinking about you. So, but anyway, she would call me every week with this. And one day I asked her, I said, "Well, when was the last time you talked to Robert?" And she said, well, I talked to him last night, but or this morning. She said, but that was because I talked to him last night and he called me. He returned my call this morning. Oh, I just lost my earring. And, I said, well, I mean, obviously, if you called him and he returned your call, he's thinking about you. It's good stuff, right? I mean, most guys, if they don't want to hear from you or talk to you, they would just blow you off and not return the call. And she'd be like, yeah, but is he seeing another woman? When am I gonna hear from him again? When am I gonna talk to? And I finally said to her one day, I said, you know what? You seem to give a lot of your power to Robert. I never heard from that woman again, which I was happy not to. And then I quit working for that company. But anyway, here's the thing. Stop giving your power over to somebody else. When they realize they have that kind of oomph over you, then the game is over. You've lost control over every aspect of that relationship. So stop giving your power away, Capricorn. Take it back. Get the ball back in your court. So anyway, the story that I was going with this in the beginning, as we were talking about Aretha Franklin, though, is I see a lot of women, like if you're in the grocery store or something, I see women who are doing their shopping and they're at the register and they'll, like pull their wallets out of their bra. So when I see this, the woman taking the money out of, sticking it in between her chest, it's like, yeah, she's got control. It's like, you know what? If you're a woman, honey, a friend of mine told me one time, because I was telling him about my dad, and it seems like, my stepmother gets over and gets whatever she wants, And I said, well, I finally had to come to the terms that, she's the one with the pussy, not me. And my friend said, yeah, P.O.P. I was like, P.O.P., what does that mean? He said, power of the pussy. So use your power if you have to. Don't, but anyway, these women, who do that, it's like, yeah, I mean, they've got their money. They're hanging on to it. They're not giving it away to anybody. They're taking care of their business. And so that's what made me think of this when I saw this. And I thought about Aretha Franklin, who, was a very powerful woman in her, in what she did. And she carried herself very well. She didn't take any shit off anybody, and she stood in her power. She had a hard life, but in the beginning, but she learned and she stood in her power. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. And if you want to become a Patreon member and get more in-depth readings, you can do that by going to the address, my Patreon address in the block below in the box. Or hey, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel here. So if so, I would love that as well. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.